Finance New Orleans Programs Committee meeting roll call. Members, Mrs. Giselle Johnson-Banks.
Present.
Miss Andronica Morris.
Present.
Mr. Stephen Smith. Mr. Edgar Chase IV. A quorum is present.
All right, thank you all so much. Let's get started and get into the meeting. And good afternoon, board member Johnson Banks. I didn't get to speak to you because I was on mute.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair.
And not managing my mute correctly.
So we got a robust agenda today, so we're going to try and get through it as efficiently as possible. So the first item is old business, and Derek, I believe you're going to be taking us through the items under the old business. Is that not right? Or I think Derek's in the, yeah, I was going to say we have to promote Derek.
Yeah, while we get Derek on, I just want to express to the board that as Vice Chair Morris just mentioned, that we have a robust agenda today. We actually have 4 projects on our agenda that need your attention. And we're going to start with the project under old business, which is Christopher Park. And we brought this project before you in August. This project is the first bond deal that's coming through our new Sustainable Developer Program. It also has a pilot attached to it, which we'll need approval for today. And then we also have a resolution that the board needs to sign off on. And we have our general counsel here to help us out with that part of it as well. But just for a little more background on Christopher Park, I'll turn it over to Derek so that he can talk about the project and all the work that has been done to get us to this point so far. Derek? Naj and team, looks like we need to move Derek from the audience to a panelist so that he can speak.
Got it, we're on it, thank you.
All right, it looks like he's over. Let me see if he's having a microphone issue. All right, he's coming in, the computer's just moving a little bit slow.
Good afternoon. My apologies, committee. Good afternoon, everyone. So this morning, or this afternoon, excuse me, be talking through the Christopher Park project. So for this project, we've brought this before you back in July and August for the bond resolution to begin the process of the bonds. And we've also brought that before you for the preliminary approval of the pilot, which we needed for that bond process. So since then, we've brought it to the State Bond Commission where it did get an approval from the State Bond Commission for the issuance of the bonds for the $35 million in bonds for the Christopher Park project. And since then, Wayne and his team, Wayne and Ruby, have been working to go through the rest of that process for the bond issuance, which includes a number of public notices and other work in the background that needs to be done for this project, including the resolution for the adoption of the sale. And also we've had Jade and our legal team as well work on the resolution for the approval of the pilot, which both resolutions we're presenting before you today during this meeting. Again, that Christopher Park project, as you remember, was or is being done by LDG Development. And it is a project that has a total development cost of $53 million approximately. It is a 204 unit project that will happen in the Algiers neighborhood or District C. It is a project that includes 8 3-story garden style apartment buildings and 12 townhomes. This project did also receive approximately $20 million in low income housing tax credits. And of course, through our platform, apply for $35 million in multifamily housing bonds, and will receive our minimum pilot price of $5,000 due to the situation with their taxes before applying for our program. We also see $62,000 in closing fees from this project as well, and that includes the application fee, legal fee, and closing fees. So today we are again bringing that adoption of the sale before the programs committee, and also the approval of the pilot, the final approval of the pilot, so that this project can be recommended to the board for that final approval of the pilot and authorization of sale. Do we have any questions from the programs committee?
Madam Chair?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you if you wanted to go, Commissioner Banks.
Yeah, I just had, I want to make sure that, I know you raised some concerns in the, not concerns to me.
Questions, yeah.
You say that, you had some questions, right, on the project in the August meeting. I just want to make sure that we were able to either get your questions answered, resolve those things before we move forward.
Yeah, no, I hadn't heard any new information that addressed those questions, so I was gonna raise them, but thank you. Yeah, so, big question, the number, the affordable housing number, because we're getting to the point now where we're going to be approving the pilot. That's based on how the deal is going to be financed. It's a critical component. It also means that we won't have a lot of wiggle room when it comes to the affordable housing mix and how many of the units are going to be deeply affordable. I know a lot of the tenants who were at Christopher opted to buy when Hano, because they did return post Katrina. A lot of them were afforded the opportunity to purchase homes, satisfying the housing authority's obligation to them, but there were some that were renters. So where is this project? Have they resolved the issue? Issues around how many units of these they might need to hold? Because that was a big issue for me, is making sure that this unit does honor the commitments that have been certainly seen in all the major redevelopments done post-Katrina, that the people who were there, certainly when Katrina hit, and if the project came back after Katrina, that those folks would get the chance to return to these new communities, given how long so many of them suffered in them under really unpardonable conditions. We accepted those conditions. So, but now we're going to redo them, which is fantastic. But wanting to make sure that we are not, and again, the folks who qualify for public housing, this is on the West Bank, where there's a big need everywhere. But there are a precious few of these units, of the deeply affordable units, that a public housing resident would qualify for on the West Bank. certainly not fixed, built units expressly for them.
Yes, Chairman Morris, I can answer that question. So we did look into that particular item for you in terms of just how many units are going to be deeply affordable, affordable, unrestricted. And so what we did find is that the project did meet our 6% AMI threshold. So 156 of those units are going to be at 6% AMI, which is affordable. Does not look like any of those units will be, deeply affordable. We did not see any project-based vouchers for the project. And we do have some units that are at 80% AMI and unrestricted as well.
Yeah, I'm just surprised that the Housing Authority doesn't see the need to build units at 30% AMI, especially in this neighborhood. And again, that's deeply affordable. 60% AMI is what the average New Orleanian makes, actually. The average New Orleanian makes enough money to qualify for 60% AMI units. So again, this is a public housing site. And the fact that public housing residents, people who qualify for public housing, won't be able to be there unless they have a voucher that they could use to rent is concerning. And, I'm not, and again, the Housing Authority is not requiring that any its own land be held for deeply affordable units. Have y'all gotten have they gotten SAC approval on this deal?
What kind of approval? I'm sorry.
SAC approval. That's HUD approving the disposition. Because HUD has to approve the disposition. And normally they want to see how many of the units, because it's public housing land. And I have actually never seen them do a disposition where there is not one unit that is held for deeply affordable residents.
Yeah, we have.
Not saying it doesn't happen, but
Sure.
hadn't happened in New Orleans.
Sure. We have bond counsel on the line who represents the developer that can provide more detail on that particular issue. In general, we've talked to Hano about a number of their projects. And as we understand it, they have different strategies for the different pieces of land that they currently own and how they want to redeploy them. So, these negotiations are typically between the developer and the Housing Authority, and then we get brought in on the back end.
Right, but so yeah, go ahead. And who's the person on the phone with the developer?
I'm sorry, Wayne Nephew is bond counsel.
Oh, hey, Wayne.
And Wayne is actually in the. I'm sorry, Wayne's not on. I thought I saw him on earlier.
I saw Wade Wooten on earlier. Is he? But yeah, not Wayne Nephew.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought we had him on, but at any rate, we can get more clarity on a particular question.
Right, because that's beyond the concepts around the prioritizing the needs of the people of New Orleans and those kinds of philosophical issues. What I am also raising is a regulatory issue and actually is a stumbling block for the entire deal. If SAC, the Special Application Center, doesn't approve the disposition, this deal isn't moving forward.
Yeah,
and they have to approve it. Yeah,
my understanding is that they've met all of the conditions necessary on the Hano side.
Okay.
And they've also met the conditions necessary for State Bond Commission approval. So
right, yeah, this is separate. So, but the Housing Authority is prepared to. They've signed. They've gotten their approvals from HUD to dispose of this property. The board's voted. That's the first step, and then HUD will have to approve the disposition. And that happened already.
That is my understanding, but I'll get clarity for you.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I would certainly want that clarified and expressly asking the Housing Authority, do they have SAC approval for disposition. Because again, this is something that usually holds up SAC approval. The fact that the unit composition does not make allowances for former public housing residents. And I understand that our role inside of this is as a facilitator, but again, we should also be facilitating our partners in doing the thing that makes the most sense. This is public housing land that we would be looking to move forward and create a project that no former public housing resident could live in is problematic at the least. So as long as we can, and I know we also have, do we have 2 different resolutions for this, or is it another one that has options for our resolution?
No,
Yes, ma'am,
actually,
we have 2.
we have two. Yes, hold up, Deidre, 1 second. Just as I explained previously, Deidre and Jade have provided us with a more robust resolution as opposed to the one sent to us from Wayne Nephew. It doesn't say which one is right or wrong. And, you know, when we go with our internal legal counsel, and so that decision as far as which recommendation of resolution we're going to put before the board is up to you. While we do have Deidre on the line, she can give some context as to why the resolution that they drafted is just a little bit more robust than the one that we've been given from Butler Snow.
Hey, Naj, it's Jade. Thank you, Madam Chair, for the question of clarification. It's 2 separate resolutions because one is the formal resolution for the pilot approval, which also is an approval of or an authorization to move forward with the negotiation of the lease and the act of sale or the act of conveyance in connection with the pilot arrangement. Wayne and Butler Snow's, their resolution is a separate resolution that covers the actual bond financing. So it is for the approval and authorization for negotiation of the bond purchase agreement in connection with the bond issuance. So because this is our first project where we have both bond financing and the pilot arrangement stacked on the same project, in those cases, we're going to see 2 separate resolutions to make sure that we provide the necessary approvals from the board for each instrument.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's not either or, it's both.
That's correct. It's both. It's both.
Okay,
both,
all right.
Both
so
are necessary.
both are required. Gotcha.
The Butler
They
Snow,
just,
yeah.
there's a little overlap, but they are both needed. Got it.
Yeah, and it's not, honestly, it's not much overlap either. Again, it's the same project, but it's 2 separate, programs, if you will. Wayne's resolution covers all of the requirements that are necessary, of course, by law, by statute, that cover the issuance of bonds, as well as any other requirements that, he would typically need to have approvals for in order to close the bond financing transaction.
1 second. So I'm sorry, I'm uncertain on communication. So we spoke and I knew that we already had one resolution from Wayne Nephew. And then you in turn sent us another resolution that you said it should be done like this. So I didn't, per your instructions, I did not, take out Wayne's resolution at all.
You shouldn't have. You were right.
I wanted to make sure that I left it up to the committee chair to figure out which or if both resolutions we were presenting.
Yeah,
so are we presenting, I'm sorry, are we presenting 2 resolutions or 1 to the board for approval?
Our recommendation, as it relates to what's required and what's needed is that both resolutions be considered by the board.
Okay, so that's what we'll do. Thank you.
Okay, so then, so what I would be willing to entertain is a conditional approval of this, that it go to the board, provided we can get the clarification to make sure that we should proceed. And so Commissioner Banks, I'd entertain a motion of approval if you, so unless you have any additional questions.
No, I don't have any additional questions. Just so I'm clear. We are entertaining a conditional approval of the
Provided
pilot
staff can clarify
program.
that we can move forward despite my reservations.
Mhm.
The finance authority's role inside of this is a facilitator.
Right.
And if our partners are deciding to take public resources and not allocate them for the folks who used to use them, yeah, that is that's a bigger fight that we can't have here.
Gotcha.
But I do want to make sure that the housing authority has not missed the step.
Yes.
Because this has changed. This has changed dramatically. I mean, I do recall there were going to be some project-based vouchers used inside of this project that would have met the deeply affordable requirements, and we'd be fine. But that didn't happen. So, and again,
Okay.
that's not the finance authority's responsibility either.
Gotcha. So we are, I'm trying to figure out which is the first resolution. So I printed both of them
I think we
out.
should just approve the whole
Yes.
project probably. I think that's the cleaner, easiest thing, is that approving the project moving forward with the instruments necessary to adopt the sale and approve the pilot.
Madam Chair, I don't disagree with you. I think you could take both resolutions at this juncture as the programs committee, because you're just making a recommendation to move them forward.
Okay.
So you could make one resolution here. I would recommend that we take the resolution separately once we get to the full board.
To the full board. Gotcha.
Yeah, but for purposes
So-
of today, we could do it all in one.
So
I was gonna
Commissioner
say, because I'm like, Jade always helps me to take the resolution separately. She's not
I do.
proponent of combining
Typically
them.
in a board meeting, I would, yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I will move conditional approval of the pilot program at Christopher Park on the conditions that we are granted full approval, the project has full HUD approval, and that the questions and concerns raised by the programs committee are resolved prior to moving this forward at the board meeting.
Thank you so much, Commissioner
You're
Banks. That motion is accepted, and let's call the question and vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion is approved, and we are, the program committee is recommending with conditions that Christopher Park be put on the agenda for full board approval at our next meeting. All right, and moving forward, we've got new business. We've got two program committees meetings minutes that we need to adopt. If everyone has reviewed those minutes, I will entertain a motion to approve both sets of minutes. Commissioner Banks?
Oops, I was on mute, sorry.
No.
I move approval of the
Yeah, we put
program
you to work
minutes.
today because that's
Yes.
me and you.
I'm it, I'm it, right?
You're it.
I move approval of the minutes from August 11th and August 23rd.
Thank you. Having that motion, we will call the question and vote to approve the minutes from August 11th, 2021 and August 23, 2021 of the program committee. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. Minutes are approved. Thank you guys so much. We didn't meet in September because of Ida. So now we are going to move into the programs report. Seeing the dashboard, and I'm gonna turn things over to our CEO, Damon Burns.
Thank you. And in a moment, the team is going to put the programs report on the screen. Just a few things to report on outside of the deal activity that we have today. We've had minimal activity in our community support fund. We've had one utility bill paid for a community member. And then we've also been continuing to push our green mortgage program. We had one more origination in September. Excuse me. We had one in origination in September, which again, the current version of the green mortgage program is the most basic form where we're trying to get people in the door and get them started with some minimal energy efficiency improvements, minimal upgrades, but also prepare them to start investing in that home, that same home down the line. But I'm also happy to report that we have an upgraded version of the green mortgage program set to come out within the next few weeks. We've been working with some of our servicing partners and lenders to create a program that allows us to fully maximize what we think the green mortgage programs can do. And we believe we found a pretty good solution to help us meet that end. Of course, we still got to go out and originate the mortgages and make the product work, but having a competitive product to begin with is really critical in the space. So we spent a lot of time developing different versions of the green mortgage program and creating a roadmap that will allow us to fully maximize the type of investment we want to see from people buying and improving green homes. As it relates to the Sustainable Developer Program, we have, of course, a few projects on the agenda today. Assuming all of these projects close as we expect, that will be 5 sustainable developer transactions for Finance New Orleans in 2021. Our first was in January, if you recall, and then the 4 that we have on the agenda today. We also have other active projects that, more than likely will close in 2022. So we're constantly working with developers, communicating with them around their projects, what their needs are, and how we can be a facilitator of this type of investment. Also, we have the Christopher Park project, I just want to point out one more time, is our first bond deal. The rest of the deals that we're going to talk about today, at least for our perspective, are pilot-only transactions. There's still bonds involved, but the bonds won't always be issued through Finance New Orleans, nor will the bonds always require our credit to be on the line. Many times developers are coming to us and they're coming with their investors in hand, and those investors are buying these bonds based on the developer's own creditworthiness. But there will be situations in the future where developers are coming to us needing to enhance their creditworthiness and utilize our balance sheet so that we can effectuate more of these transactions. So we expect a mix of those different project types moving forward. For now, we're really trying to fine tune the pilot process, and we're getting a handle on it, the underwriting that's required, the decision points that need to be made, et cetera. Next slide, please. And here again is a snapshot of our community support fund. I talked a little bit about that earlier. We've only had one utility bill paid in the last month, but we're continuing to push that program and looking for new sources of funds. Next slide. Again, single family, we're building out different versions of our green mortgage program. This is actually the Own New Orleans program, which you're looking at, which was discontinued as we launched the green mortgage program. Next slide. In our sustainable developer pipeline, 53 projects that we're tracking at the moment, 18 active applications, 4 before you today, 3 that we've closed already. And again, we're trying to close the year with additional 4, which will be 5 for 2021. And it's a great milestone for us. And of course, we got to get them done first. but I think we should take a moment and just recognize the type of effort that the staff has put in, the board for making the decision to take risk on these types of programs and the budget that y'all approve every year. And then also the partners that we've been working with, the city, the other housing agencies around the city at the state level, federal level, even some of our other peer agencies around the country have provided a lot of help in order to get us to this point. So it's a good start. We got a long way to go. I really believe that we can do about 10 of these projects on an annual basis. At least 10 pilots and hopefully 10 bond deals. Sometimes it may be more or less bond deals than pilots, but we think that we can do a robust set of activity. There's a great need in New Orleans. Not all of it is within our control, but as long as we have this pipeline or program set up, there's value to it. Developers are seeing value and they're coming to us. They're bringing deals. They want this to be a platform that they can depend on to come back to over and over again. So that's what we've been working to create. So this is a good point for us to do 5 deals in a year with not even having the full capacity of the staff that we think we need in order to effectively manage these programs. And we'll get to that point. But I just want to stop and thank the staff. Kelly's not here today, but the rest of the programs team is here. Derek, Sheila, Carolyn, and the finance team led by Byron does the underwriting for these projects. Byron, Clarice, and Chris, Naj, and the rest of the team on just keeping all this stuff together. So a lot more work to be done in the course of this meeting alone. But I just wanted to highlight that the team is working hard and trying to reach those goals. So we're not going to stop here. But
That's
congratulations
fantastic,
to
Damon.
everybody involved. Thank you.
I wish we had we could clap or something, but I'm going to interrupt you to add you to that. Thank you all. Thank the entire team, yourself included. You guys have, this is what we've been talking about, dreaming about since the Finance Authority started on this journey. Finance New Orleans started on this new journey, and you are all to be commended for getting us here. So thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome. So unless there are any more questions about the programs, we can move on to the other items on the agenda, because that's going to take us a little moment to get through.
No, really good dashboard. Thanks y'all for working on that. Looks good.
You're welcome. Please scroll down. All right, so we have Vice Chair Morris and Board Member Johnson Banks. We have 3 deals that we're recommending for your approval today. They're pilot transactions, as I mentioned earlier, and these are 3 good projects from 3 reputable developers here in New Orleans. So I'll turn it over to Derek again so that he can walk through each one of these projects. Before we do that, just question to the board: how would you like us to present these? Should we present them one at a time and then seek approval after each presentation? Or do you want to hear all of the presentations and we look at approvals once we've done the presentations?
Madam Chair, what's your pleasure?
I'm agnostic. I mean, I think we should hear them all, and if there's a problem, we can pull them out. But if they're all okay, as I expect they will be, the staff wouldn't be bringing them to us if they weren't. But they might.
Right.
There might be problems. I think we single that out and then do them in one fell swoop at the end. What about you?
That's fine. No, that's fine.
Okay. And we'll do it that way. And one more note before I turn it over to Derek for the presentation. Each of the projects today on the screen, there's a developer in the audience represented. So if at any point we need to bring a developer in for questions, they're here. I mean, we generally want to keep the presentation to staff, but if it's required, I'm just letting you know if we got to get down to the bottom or something.
That's great.
All right, Derek, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Damon. And thank you, Programs Committee, for allowing me to present these projects to you today. So first we have the H3C Bronze Dairy project. which is requesting final approval for pilot for that project. So we're looking at an initial pilot price of $32,567,000. And with the fees and the pilot combined, that's a transaction totaling $115,797,000. The H3C project, which stands for Health, Community, Culture, and Commerce, is an innovative urban development co-locating healthcare providers and public health researchers alongside a 192-unit mixed income housing development on Aretha Castle Haley Boulevard. The developers working on this project is GCHP and Alembic Community Development. Both of those developers have been partnering to get this project off the ground and have been very instrumental in getting this project moved through our process. So with that, the project has two sites, one 1300 to 1328 Aretha Castle Haley Boulevard, and the other 1801 Talia Street. For these projects, they'll have approximately 210,000 square feet of residential space for households. That range for the households will range from 20% to 120% AMI. We'll see 100 apartments on Aretha Castle Haley with 8,100 square feet of ground floor storefront space. They did utilize for this project taxes and bonds and 4% LIHTC or low income housing tax credits to get this project financed. Both GCHP and Alembic are experienced developers. GCHP was established in early 2006 after Hurricane Katrina and Rita devastated our communities. And through an initiative, local and national leaders were brought together for a shared vision to create a well-capitalized professional nonprofit community development organization. And with that, GCHP was born. In terms of Alembic Community Development, they have been working to build equitable partnerships with mission-driven organizations, bringing impactful investments to our neighborhoods. And if the committee remembers, they were on another project that received a pilot from us recently, which was the historic McDonough 19 Elementary School. And that will be, as we know, made into the Tate, Etienne, and Prevost Center, excuse me. So in terms of their financial feasibility, the main indicator that we use is a debt service coverage ratio. They're well within that range that we look for our projects to be financially feasible, with a debt service of 1.15. The range that we usually look for is between 1.10 and 1.40. So they're well within that. They have a healthy project that will expect income expenses to improve and increase the debt service coverage to 1.43 by year 15. So based on the financial feasibility report done by our Chief Business Officer, Byron Badger, we do recommend that the proposed project is recommended for board approval. I'll open it up to Programs Committee for any questions on that project.
So I'm just trying to go through I'm looking through the report. And I think one of the things that we need to make sure is that you guys have, this is gonna be helpful with the full board and with us as well. If there is a convenient top sheet that explains the project, that we can go back and forth for. I see you guys have got the summary in here, but I think it would be great, just especially since this is one of the first ones that we're doing. And I know you guys have we've got the pipeline and it's on here, but I think when we go to present them to the board, if you guys could have just a consistent top sheet so everybody so that you get the breakdown of everything like this. So I'm looking through the numbers. Go ahead.
For that top sheet, Angelique, I'm sorry to interrupt. Please excuse me, but just wanted to make sure we give you guys and the board exactly what you need so that you can, properly digest these projects. With that summary sheet, would you rather that summary sheet be towards the beginning, or would you like something a little bit more detailed and descriptive for that top sheet?
Yeah, no, I think towards the beginning, and it would be helpful, especially when we're presenting in this fashion. It could be that top sheet could be what's shown on the screen so that the public can reference what's going on and with the project that you're talking about. And again, broad stroke numbers, basically everything that you guys have already in the pipeline report, just put on a single page that you can see on the screen. And I think it'd be helpful as you all are making the presentation, so that if you want to, there's a salient fact about the project that is prompted, you can look to the screen for it, because I'm scrolling back and forth a lot.
I'm doing the same, which is why,
and I'm zooming because the pipeline report is so little. And that's fine. I'm not saying change the pipeline report. I'm just saying, I'm just scrolling across here, and it would be great if it was just everything on the pipeline report just dropped on a single page at the top and put up for us and the audience. And I think that that's going to help, certainly when it's presented to the full board as well. Because that we can get down into the details. So that's number one, just, again, so we can keep straight on this. I'm personally very familiar with this project. It's one that we have been watching with, I have been watching with great anticipation, particularly its impact on the zoning, the way that they have used some of the zoning pieces to get this to build out. And so we wanted to see it for a long time move this, sort of a model. Again, one question that I don't remember hearing, you may have said it, Derek, and forgive me if you did. Did we mention the Belle Reve? Is Belle Reve still involved in this deal? Was one question. I don't remember hearing their names.
Yeah, I can maybe speak to that. Hi, Andronique, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Good. Shelter Resources, Belle Reve is still involved in the project. They're providing an investment in the senior building here. We've got a 100-unit family building and a 92-unit senior building, and they'll also be offering some programming out of the community space that's within the project.
Fantastic. Just wanted to make sure that they were still involved. And again, we're facilitators at this point, but there's a lot to get excited about what you guys are trying to put together here. So we want to see y'all that you pull it off with as much of those pieces intact as we can manage. Commissioner Banks, do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions at this point.
Okay, so we'll move on to the next one. And like I said, part of this is we need to be preparing for full presentation to the board. I can't think of anything else there are going to be questions, but I think we can address a lot of those questions if the information is provided up front. Okay, great. I don't have anything else. Let's move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Hey, Derek, the next one is the Grove Place. Do you have a brief summary information to share with the committee on that?
Yes, I do. I'm sorry.
It's loading, Naj.
Goes
Okay.
over here.
Yep. There you go.
Oh, great.
All right, sorry about that. A little bit of technical difficulties there. But the next project that we'll be presenting is the growth apartments. So as you guys can see here on the summary page, the Grove Place Apartments is located in Holly Grove neighborhood in Uptown New Orleans. The project will be placed on the square block of Earhart, Monroe Street, Leonidas, and Calapisa Street. Forgive me if I pronounced that wrong. I'm not from Uptown. But the project will have 32 residential units, as well as a shared green space that all units would be able to access. For this project, they're looking at a total development cost of approximately $11 million, which of course will go to the number of amenities that will be included for the project. In terms of the unit mix, we do see some deeply affordable units here, over 21 units that are going to be deeply affordable. The project did receive 19 project-based vouchers for permanent support housing, which we've seen the Paul Irons and development team with Restoration Properties work valiantly and diligently to acquire. So we've been talking pretty closely or talking consistently with Paul Irons and the team at New Orleans Restoration Properties, which includes Marcia DeLate and Daniel DeLate, who is the project manager. And Paul and Marcia are taking the lead in terms of the development for the project. This project did also receive live tech credits as well, and has a substantial capital stack when it comes to its financing, which is anchored by mortgage from Enterprise. In terms of our debt coverage ratio, we see here financial feasibility for the project. As stated before, we look for a range of 1.1 to 1.4 in terms of debt service coverage ratio. We see here that the project has debt service coverage of 1.15 with the pilot. For this project, they did apply for a reduced payment pilot. So with that, the developer needed a reduction on the pilot price. So they went through an additional process where we procured services from a third-party vendor to verify that this project would not be feasible at the pilot price that we have, the standard pilot price that we have for projects. From that, we did find that the debt service coverage ratio was at 1.05 without the reduced payment pilot. And so with that, we did get the project to a respectable level of the 1.15 debt service coverage ratio, going up to 1.37 in year 15. So with the findings from the but-for analysis and the financial feasibility report that our Chief Business Officer, Byron, put together, we did find that the project was feasible, and we do recommend approval for the project to the board. Do we have any questions from the committee?
Hey, guys, hold on 1 second. Board Member Morris fell off. Let me move her back over.
And I was on the whole time on my phone. I just lost my video connection, but I'm back now, so I can see.
Okay, I don't have any questions.
All right, so do we have any questions from our committee members about the Grove Place project?
I don't have any.
And committee members, if it meets your pleasure, we do have the developers from the Grove Place project on the line. We'd like to open the floor to allow for them to say a word or two on the project.
Okay.
Y'all hear me okay?
Yes, good afternoon.
How you doing? How you doing?
Hi, you, Ms. Hines.
Hi, Paul.
Hey, Andronika. How's everyone doing? Thanks for having us today. My name is Paul Irons. My partner, Marcia, with me. We're together. Marcia is also my sister. And as many of you already know, it's a family-owned business, fourth generation. And we are from Holly Grove. So this project is near and dear to our hearts. It will serve for our friends, current residents, new residents to be able to come into Holly Grove, have a quality, affordable place to stay, close to downtown, near transit, with all of the amenities that are needed. So this pilot is essential to the feasibility of the project, and we really appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks, guys. This is great. I'm excited to see this one moving forward as well. So, we don't have any questions, so we can move on to the final presentation.
Okay, the final project that we'll be presenting today is the Reveal project. We'll give 1 second. Jarvis is pulling that up for us. All right. Thank you, Jarvis. So the Reveal is a 150 unit service intensive housing community project targeting special needs households, including the disabled and single parent families. And they're working to deliver flexible, responsive, and individualized service that meet the varying needs of choices of the residents. So the Reveal is located on Chef Mentor Highway in the Mishu neighborhood. As part of their offerings, they will have an on-stall care coordinator to assist residents with transportation scheduling, community events, after-school care, and supportive service appointments. The property will also include additional amenities, as such 24-hour on-site security, as well as different community-wide events and trainings that focus on independence, self-sufficiency skills, and financial management. So with this, they'll also include extensive fitness center, physical therapy rooms, on-site medical clinic. So they do offer a range of services to help support their residents in that neighborhood, especially in that Mishu neighborhood. Today, for the project, they are requesting approval of a pilot. The initial pilot payment is for $15,497 with a total closing fee of $117,124. And that includes the pilot and the other fees associated with that pilot transaction. The developers for This project is Commonwealth Development Corporation. We've been working closely with them to ensure that we are moving this project through the process. They've been helpful in getting us information that's needed. And in terms of just a little bit more information on Commonwealth, they were named the best affordable housing developer by USA by Build. And in 2020, Commonwealth was ranked 12th largest affordable developer in the nation. So they have impressive over 20 years of experience in affordable housing. They have a number of affordable housing projects that are still seeing over 90% occupancy rate, for their projects. So we do see that they are able to maintain these types of projects and are experienced in these types of projects. In terms of the unit mix, we do see some deeply affordable units, and this is 100% affordable projects. So 8 of their units are at 20% AMI. We also see another number of units at 50% AMI. And they have a range of units from 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedrooms, and 4 bedroom units to help assist and give room for those residents of the Reveal project. In terms of total development cost, the project is looking at $43 million approximately for total development costs. And again, this project is a total of 150 units. They did as well utilize LAC CDBG money as well as city home funds for the project. And they will have a mortgage that will be provided by Walker Dunlop. In terms of their financial feasibility, we do see debt service coverage ratio of 1.15, which is well within our range for financial feasibility when it comes to our affordable housing projects. And we are expecting that to rise to 1.42 by year 15. So with that, we do see that the project is financially feasible, and based on the assumptions of the report summary, supporting information, and schedules, we do recommend this project is recommended to the board for final approval. Do we have any questions from the committee?
Do we have a developer for this one who wants to speak? I don't have.
Yes, we do have developers on the line, so we do want to give them space to say a word or two about the project. Ron, Darlene, please take it away.
I'll start. This is Ron with Weber Consulting. We've been on this project for approximately 3 years. This is an exciting project. It's going to make a huge impact, not only in the community, but also for the residents with the amount of amenities that Commonwealth is offering. We are very thankful for all the assistance we've had from Finance New Orleans, the staff, Damon, the whole crew have been wonderful to work with. Also our affordable housing partners, as we work on many affordable housing developments throughout the city of New Orleans and the region. And as well, our Councilmember Wynn for all of her assistance on this. And we will begin leasing on this. We are hoping to get certificate of occupancy for the first building by about the first week of November.
Good afternoon. Sorry, I thought I'd unmuted. Good afternoon, Ron. That's fantastic news. I'm personally glad to hear all the points that you made. And we're glad that you guys, especially the part that you guys are gonna hope to be leasing up. Having COO by the end of the year, that's tremendous. So, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Nope. Oh, okay. I was like, nope, they can't hear me. Did y'all hear me speak to Ron?
Yes.
Did he hear me? Oh, okay.
Yes,
All right,
thank
good.
you.
Good. We're good. We're fine. One other thing that listening to Ron made me think, I think also it would be helpful behoove us when we're presenting this. We talk about the total impact of investment. We're talking about, trying to keep the math in my head, but well over $300 million, about 650 units. And across my math. and talking about when they can start coming online, right? The fact that we were going to have units as soon as this year, everything goes correctly. I think that is also something that the board would like to hear. So go ahead. Somebody's trying to speak.
Yeah, that's me. Asking you just for clarification. You're saying that we should show the board the total impact of all
no. While we're presenting, little showmanship. This represents, these collective projects represent this much, and include Christopher and make sure it goes right. And this collective investment represents $500 million of investment, this many units over this time period. Y'all should give. There's never was a time to strut. It's now.
Understood. Thank you.
So, Commissioner Banks, do you have any questions, suggestions?
I don't at this point. I do want to, well, I'll talk to you offline, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I do have a question regarding the summary page that we will be moving forward providing for these various pilots. Would it also help if we can include in the summary a component of the actual impact of these developments?
Yeah, that's fine. Like I said, I was more asking Damon and all of you really, and I can do it when I do the prep by report. But again, you guys are going to be taking them through the deals, and I just would like to make sure that everybody is clear on the impact that you're talking about here. And I know there's a lot going on. These deals are incredibly complicated, and I do want you guys to take your bows. Not just for your hard work and your sign, but to remind everybody what Finance New Orleans is delivering. So yeah, that's it can be on the screen as well, but I think it is more helpful if it is a part that is stated, and as the board understands what we are collectively attempting to do. Because there's a lot, and I know you've done a lot.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we present the right information to you. And so I just had a thought, maybe we provide the summary as well as the viability report with it, if that meets your pleasure. So we have 1 or 2 pages as opposed to, 2
That's
different.
fine.
Okay, great. Thank you.
That's fine. Commissioner Banks, you want to move approval of these?
Yes, I'm sorry. I was just getting ready to switch to my phone. I have to go pick up my baby. So, so yes, I thank you all for the information. Thanks, Derek, for the presentations. Really good. I would like to move preliminary approval of the 3 projects.
Thank you so much. With that motion, this issue is moved and I accepted. I will call the question and call for a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None opposed. The motion is approved, and These three matters are approved to get to the full board for discussion and approval.
Yes.
Do we have, that's great. So do we have any public comment?
No public comments at this time.
I'm sorry,
All
Vice
right.
Chair Park. Before we move on, I just want us to be clear on what action you just took. So just to remind you, for pilot transactions, it only requires one approval from the committee and then one final approval from the board, as opposed to the way we do it for bond deals where you need multiple approvals.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is this is approval for recommendation for us for full approval by the board.
Yes.
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 Yes, that's what I thought we did.
Okay,
Yeah.
just making sure.
So thanks for that clarification, Dana. That was my intention in the motion.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Wait, I'm pausing because I'm giving the general counsel a minute to think.
Yeah, and thank you so much, Chairwoman. So I want to make sure that we emphasize there are still multiple layers of approval that'll be required, even when it's just a pilot only. But let me say this: I've been working with Kelly to make every attempt at further streamlining that. And the one thing that you should know is that the staff is, regardless of whether we can streamline it down to one set of approvals, which I think we can accomplish going forward, we still will need to have, we still will have the need for a public hearing on each one of them. It's very important, given that we are talking about tax incentives, that we give the public the opportunity to weigh in a formal hearing type of setting before the board considers her final approval. So that would be the only caveat that I would add.
And I'm taking from your statement that this meeting does not count for that. The staff would host a public meeting.
Yeah,
and I could be wrong.
For the current purposes, let me say this: you'll still, because we will still need the board's approval once the lease, like you did today for Christopher Holmes, because there is a lease agreement that is required to be approved by the board. That is when you will see these come back to you. But in terms of the original, that initial set of approvals, what the programs committee right now is doing is sufficient. So it should not have to come back to the programs committee. It may, there may still be a need to have multiple approvals at the board level.
At the board level. Gotcha. Okay.
So that should be next month, correct? Because I think we are supposed to see these a month in advance. So that the programs committee and the staff can do what they need to do to carry out all those actions that they're talking about, Jay.
Yeah, assuming everything checks out on the underwriting end, you could arguably see it next month, as early as next month.
Right, but it's not going to. Yes, but it's not going to be this month. This one, these three will not be on the October agenda.
Correct.
Okay. Clarification. Okay. But Jade, we are okay with the motion that we made.
You are.
Okay, good. You're gonna train me like you trained Giselle. That's fine. So
that's right. Good training right there.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's why. That's why. Look, I took that deep breath. I was like, wait.
Now, I'm sorry, board members. Some clarity. These particular projects, they actually do need approval this month. They need final approval. This is the what we hope is the last batch of deals where we've had to really, accelerate our timeline to help meet the deadlines of some of these projects. For example, the reveal is very close to being finalized, and they're almost done
that's right.
construction that they mentioned.
Yeah,
so,
they got CO. Okay.
Yes.
And
so
to Commissioner Banks's point, though, we got to reiterate this. And again, this makes it even more imperative and I want to make sure y'all hear us, that the presentation needs to go smoothly before the full board. It needs to be full and clear, and not a deluge of need all of the information, but we also need to make sure that it is presented in a way that everyone can process it if we are going to act quickly. So that means that next meeting, the top sheets that you, in addition to presenting pictures, that you all are able to present summary information that the board can see while they're scrolling through documents, that the public can see, so that everybody can understand, sure that everyone can make a good decision with all of the facts, and that people are not worried or confused because the information is not being, the information, they may have information, but it's not readily accessible. So we are going to, and I think it would have been great to Commissioner Banks' point, if y'all had a month plus to get ready for that. You don't, you got 2 weeks. And I'm gonna urge you all in the strongest language possible to implement the changes we have suggested today so that the presentation goes well.
You're on mute, Naj.
Yes, ma'am. We'll be sure to have that summary page as well as the viability component. And we'll have a resolution. I don't know if you guys have noticed, there's no resolutions for these particular pilots because we needed to make sure that you guys were okay with recommending it to the board for approval. So we'll be sure to include that as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Don't have any public comment. Is this still the case?
Yes, it is. No public comments at this time.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, meeting is adjourned. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you all.
All right, bye.
Thank you, everyone.